Would you say you fear the police in Germany? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Chris checking in with another video. I have a special guest today. He is my friend. His name is Dan.
Hey.
Yes, Dan is from the UK and we both live in Munich. I prepared 10 questions that I'm gonna ask him in terms of his experience walking through Germany as a black man. We're gonna just discover basically what does he think about Black Lives Matter initiative, how important does he feel that the Black Lives Matter discourse is to basically combating racism in Germany. We're gonna go in order chronologically. If you see us randomly grabbing a grape or something like that, we're just chilling, so just a heads up, and water. And it's sparkling water. We don't drink sparkling water in America. So.
Not in the UK. Well,
yeah.
It's optional, but yeah.
All right, let's go. So thank you for coming again, buddy. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, you know, what do you do in Munich, and why is it that you're in Germany?
No, definitely, and I just want to say thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But yeah, as Chris said as well, my name is Dan, and I'm from the UK. Was born in London, and well, born and raised in London. I've moved to Munich now, just over 5.5 years ago now. So, but originally, my family come from the Caribbean, so basically my parents were both born in London as well, but it's my grandparents who are also from the Caribbean. And my father's side is from Jamaica, mother's side comes from Barbados. And my family have been in the UK now for the last 70 odd years now. So.
Tell us about what you're doing in Germany, since you told us about where you come from and your origin.
Well, yeah, well, right now, I mean, I came to Germany initially for a girl. And
okay.
yeah, but you know, that's the story. When I meet so many other guys or some women for that matter, we always ask, oh, well, what brings you here? And often they tend to say their partners. So, yes.
Everybody comes here for love.
Exactly, came here for love. So,
yeah.
But I first started off working in an Irish pub, and then I was only meant to stay for 6 months. But after 6 or 7 months, I decided to stay. I really loved it here in Munich. So from that point onwards, I decided to go into construction because that's what I did back in the UK. But then I got an opportunity to work in a school. So right now I am actually teaching. I've been teaching now for the last 3 years.
Okay. What do you teach?
I teach English.
Okay, great. And you also like drama, so you want to be a drama teacher in the future,
That's
right?
That's the thing. Is drama is a major hobby of mine. So, and if I can do it on any capacity, whether it's being on stage or directing people on stage, I'm all over that.
So this leads into the next question I want to ask you. So basically, we know about where you're from. So I want to know what your overall experience of living as a Black Brit in Germany has been like. And you can share an experience, basically a personal experience or professional experience, like when you engage with microaggressive comments or perhaps racism in these spaces.
Well, basically, like my overall experience has been pretty good. I mean, I noticed the first time I came to Munich, people have been very, very friendly. So a lot of people are very, very polite. A lot of people are very welcoming, and that's exactly how I felt when I came to Munich for the first time. I felt welcomed. However, there have been some scenarios where I have encountered people who have, or who are not so used to seeing people of other ethnicities. Maybe they start staring at you. There's so many times I've been on a train where people just start staring.
Okay.
At you. And
I have that.
And you kind of, the thing is though, but you kind of like catch your eyes with them. And you normally, when I find myself staring into space, but I actually find myself actually staring in someone else's direction, and they catch my eye, I'm like, oh, that was very rude.
We would do that too.
You know what I mean? But I do it to them. I catch them staring at me, and they just continue
to stare. Yeah.
To stare. Like,
I talked about this in one of my previous videos, and a lot of people actually, some of my subscribers basically said that it's normal.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
I get a lot of questions. I think it comes from, well, I like to think it comes from a good place, but I rather people just ask me where I'm from and let me answer.
Right.
Rather than assuming that I come from Mozambique or I come from Nigeria, or do I come from Ghana or something.
Right. Do you think it's because of your hair or like the beard?
Definitely. My hair confused a lot of people because before I used to have long dreadlocks like down to about here.
Mm-hmm.
And so people used to get really confused because they would see the hair and instantly associate that with Jamaica.
Okay.
You know, all the dreadlocks, Rastafarians, they would associate it with Jamaica. And so they would say, his hair looks like he's from Jamaica, but he could be from Mozambique or he could be from Sierra Leone or wherever. And so there was one time where I was actually stopped and searched by the police one time.
Wow.
And it was a very busy street, so I decided to take the underground just to walk underneath it. My dreads, they weren't that long back then. They were down to about here, but they weren't long enough so I can tie it back into a ponytail. So basically, I was walking really quickly because I was running late. So looking back on it, it's quite funny now in a way because I like to look back at it now and think all the police saw was just slow motion, black guy. Just dreads flying everywhere as he's walking really quickly and stuff, right? They just stop me. They just say, "Entschuldigung, kommen Sie bitte hier." And so I think, okay, what have I done? Basically just tell me it's just a random search that they're doing. So they took away my phones from me, they took my wallets away from me, and they were just patting me down. I had my hands up like this. Meanwhile, there were people just business passerbys with luggage, suitcases, rucksacks, a lot, and I had nothing apart from my pockets.
Okay.
They're actually asking me questions as well. They're saying to me, do you speak English? And I say, yeah, I speak English. And by this point, they're puffing out their chests, because I'm sure they assumed I was from, sure I was from an African nation or something. So then, of course, he looks at my driver's license. And my driver's license has the UK written on it, with the EU.
At the time.
At the time, yeah. And of course, they're looking at it now, and he's like, looks at his colleague, looks at me, and he's like, wait, where are you from? So I'm from London, England. And I'm thinking by this point, so my English should be good.
Right.
So, in this moment in time, I just thought, I'm not going to kick up a fuss. I'm not going to start shouting out abuse. I'm not going to start shouting out my rights. I know I'm very aware of what I look like, and I know if I were to say some nonsense to them, it would probably justify their reasons to keep me there longer, just to abuse their power. So I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to provoke them in any way, and I knew I didn't have anything on me. All I had on me were my phone, my wallet, and my keys.
That's crazy. I have never experienced anything like that. So I guess you would say that.
I hope you never do.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been stopped by the police in the States, nor have I been stopped by the police here in Germany. And I think this actually leads into a next question that I have, which is basically, so for many, being black in Germany can be isolating and exhausting. If you identify with this sentiment, where do you go personally for emotional support when you need it here in Munich?
It's very difficult because I can talk to other people about this. I can talk to people from different backgrounds about this. I can talk to a lot of my white friends about it, but they'll never really truly get it, if you know what I mean. And that's no disrespect. It's just that if you don't have to encounter it, or if you don't encounter it, you don't have to think about it, then you just don't think about it, I guess, in that sense. It's so sometimes when it comes to talking to other black people, I mean, in the past I've had another black colleague who I used to talk to a lot about these things, because sometimes it's quite funny, because sometimes you just mention something, and straight away they're like, oh yeah,
I get it.
I get it.
I mean, I don't know if you experience this, but it's like everywhere I walk, I don't know, it doesn't even have to be in, I guess, Germany, it was in China. When you see another black person, it's almost disrespectful if you don't say hi. You know what I mean? Do you ever get that? It's kind of like, it's like, what's up? Like, hey, I see you. You see me. How are you?
It's kind of like the unspoken code kind of thing.
Like, you have to say hi or else it's rude.
Yeah, exactly. But the funny thing is, the person next to me is like, oh,
Like, why are you talking?
Do you know him?
Yeah, it would
like,
honestly be
no?
disrespectful if you don't say hi. So,
Yeah.
in America, at least in my family, there comes a point in every black household when parents have to reluctantly force their children to internalize the fears of their surrounding white community. So I grew up in a white community, and obviously there were perceptions about black people in this majority community, and my parents wanted to just make us aware of that. Most parents deliver a detailed verbal step-by-step guide outlining how we, people of color, should behave when we're stopped by the police in any given situation. In this regard, the concept of innocent before proven guilty doesn't always apply to us. So you spoke about this a little bit already, but I wanted to know, what is it like growing up in London as a black man dealing with the police? Is it common for black British parents to have similar talks with their kids at a certain point in their development?
No, definitely, because in the UK, I mean, I've never had any problems with the police, however, but as a black person, I mean, I've spoken to my other black friends in England about it as well. Yeah, subconsciously you have this feeling that you need to behave differently when the police turn up or something like that, because you're easily just targeted, even if you clearly haven't done anything wrong, just because you're black.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't need a reason other than that. I was always told that hey, if you ever get stopped by the police or anything, just act normal. Just don't give them a reason to abuse their power, basically. Okay. So, and it kind of shaped me for the rest of my life, really, because you find that you can't really be yourself anymore. Right. You have to be a much more polite version of yourself. Okay. Just so the police can think, he doesn't seem like a violent black person or anything, It doesn't seem like that. So,
how would you say that has impacted your experience in Germany?
It was just very unusual for me because I just got here at that point. I didn't know what it's like, and I got stopped by the police in within my first 4 months of living in Munich. So if this happens in my first 4 months, whoa, what's going to happen afterwards? And all I knew is I needed to be on my best behavior, because the last thing I needed to be is in prison in a foreign country.
Would you say you fear the police in Germany?
It's a good question. I fear the power that they may abuse.
Okay. And do you think this fear is based, I guess, in the conditioning that you have from your parents about, hey, this is what can happen to you, so be on your best behavior? And wherever you travel, I mean, you've traveled all over Europe. I mean, anytime you deal with the police, you have that intimate, that deep fear that they can abuse the power towards you as a black man.
Exactly, especially being a foreigner as well, for that matter, because they can assume that you don't speak the language. And of course, back then, my language skills were very, very basic. Okay. So...
Jetzt sprichst du sehr gutes Deutsch, gell?
Yeah. Spreche sehr gut Deutsch.
Yes, we're learning together. Yeah, but you would say overall that you, I guess, fear the police here and basically what they can do.
What they can do, because don't get me wrong, you can't paint everyone with the same brush.
Right.
Not every police officer is
a white supremacist.
Is a white supremacist or anything like that. And of course, it's like people are just people at the end of the day.
How important would you say Black Lives Matter is to people of color in the UK?
Extremely important. Okay. It's extremely important, yeah.
Just as you know, right after George Floyd was murdered, Munich had a huge demonstration here that was attended by 20,000 participants. I actually made a video filming that. So how significant do you think the Black Lives Matter discussion and this initiative should be in Germany's discourse against racism and white supremacists?
I mean, personally, I'm just really, really glad that it's brought awareness. What happened to George Floyd, of course, it's hard to talk about it because it's so horrific and just so...
Yeah.
It's just, basically no words can justify how angry and upset people have been over that, and I'm actually angered that it took that to bring awareness.
Right.
Where so it's been happening
way before.
Way before. I'm thinking, okay, I'm glad that it's brought awareness, but where was that awareness
before that?
So really, I'm glad that it's brought awareness, of course.
In Germany.
In Germany.
Yeah.
And through this awareness, you know, hopefully now people can change or further their education.
And this one, it kind of addresses the first question that I asked you about your experience living here in Germany as a Black man in professional and personal spaces. You talked about being, I guess, racially profiled. You talked about being stared at. This video will most likely be watched by Germans as it pertains to your experience as a Black Brit living in Germany. If you could educate anyone who has misjudged you in the past based on your appearances, your hair, and the color of your skin in Germany, what would you say to them?
First of all, I mean, I like to just say that, I mentioned it before, you can't paint everyone with the same brush. Mm-hmm. And we're all guilty of being ignorant towards other people. And let's face it, I mean, what I've faced right now is mainly, I would say, is mainly been more ignorance than racism. Mm-hmm. But racism is still there, of course. Sometimes just keep your comments to yourself, okay, in a way, you know, and also it's nice that people have questions, but at the same time, you have to be very aware of who you're talking to, who you're approaching with those kind of questions, if that makes sense.
It's interesting you say people should keep to themselves, obviously there's certain questions to themselves, but what would we do in situations where Germans are just generally curious and they want to obviously make friends with you, yeah, but they want to ask you questions about your hair, yeah, or where you come from, but they don't want to come across as racist? What would you say a common ground, yeah, for that is?
I mean, a common ground in that sense, I would say I always prefer it when people talk to me like a human being, first of all, that they address me by my name, of course, and we can have a nice conversation, and whatever you're thinking, like you're thinking, oh my God, you know, his hair, like where you know, how did he get his hair like that, or his skin color, like all those thoughts you're thinking, or where maybe from, and
not
stuff.
On the first date.
Not on the first date.
Okay.
Or not the initial conversation. Anyway, you can always keep this in the back of your mind because everyone's curious about everything, of course. But it's how you lead with it. You know. So I've been in situations before where people have just asked me straight away, "Where are you from?" And I say, "I'm from England." "Yeah, but where are you really from?"
Okay.
Now, to me, that's very rude because I already told you I'll come from England, and you should just respect that, yeah, for starters. But so first of all, like I said, just address the person by their name. You can talk about what they do or why they're here and this and that and the other, and that's fine. Then later on down the line, you know, you can just slowly start asking other questions. Guess you could say what you really want to find out, you know. But if you do it in that kind of way, then it doesn't come across as pushy or very, you know,
presupposing.
Forced
I hear you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's because sometimes people just ask me those questions, and once I tell them what they want to hear, they don't want to know anymore about it.
Okay.
And so I've just given out all this information to some random person, and I've basically just satisfied them with their justification. Right. You know.
So it's crazy because all these experiences, like you said, they shape us, and I think if anything, it's just really good to experience them with you. Yeah. Honestly,
definitely.
But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
He doesn't have an Instagram, he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but you know, he'll be back on here, okay, because I have a lot of topics I want to talk about in regard to race, as well as doing what we can to strengthen, I guess, the connections between, I guess, Black people all over the world, and hopefully people from Germany, from the United States, from China, can look at this video, and I hope you guys learned something from this video. I sure as hell learned a lot. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And let's go have a coffee or something.
Definitely.
Okay? Thank you guys for watching. If you like videos like this, please give both of us a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. Keep your eyes open for more content, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you. Tschüss. Ciao.